What it is, what it is, what it is, YouTube. You know who it is. It's your boy, the Moose, Moose Bud. Let's kick it.
Please welcome the Moose in the house.
Hey, man. So, y'all want to know where I started? I'm going to give you guys a background of who the Moose is and where he started before I became a DJ. And this is it. All right. So let's get into the video. You're going to love this. So when I was younger, I played in a band in school. He wanted me to play the bass clarinet. I was first chair. I was first chair for 2 years. Somebody came in. I was in middle school, and somebody came in behind me that basically took my chair from me. And he's like, you know what? You're a good player. I'm going to go ahead and throw you on the bass. So my 8th grade year, I played the bass clarinet. I was in marching band for those 3 years. I did not march with my instrument. I actually was on the banner. The only reason is because of my disability. At the time, I was having seizures and everything else because of epilepsy. So he was very, very patient with me. There was times that I didn't come to school. I missed one performance, between 1 and 3 performances because of my epilepsy. So he was very, very, very understandable. So let's get into this video. I know what you're seeing. You're seeing instruments of the orchestra. Now, I put this video together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you, we're going to discuss the instruments behind the orchestra, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a sound. Now, I tried to find each instrument in the scales. I couldn't. So there's a couple that are in scale, but a couple that aren't in scale. But I'm going to explain the instrument to you and then show you I'll show you the instrument and explain the instrument. And I will give you a brief couple of seconds of what the instrument sounds like. So you can kind of get an idea of all the beautiful instruments out there that make music. All right. So the first one, let me get my mouse. Where's my mouse at? There's my mouse. Okay. Ready? Let's get it going. This is called the string family. And in the string family is the violin. The violin is the smallest of the string family. It has 4 strings and it's played with a bow. The bow is made out of wood and hair and is made out of horsehair. And it can be plucked to create a sound. The violin is made out of wood. The violin is considered the main string instrument, for many virtuosos and solo playing. The violin is the highest pitched string instrument of the four of the string family. It is played by balance and under your chin. Right here, the chin rest is right here, and here's the bridge, and here's your scroll, here's your neck, and this is where you put your fingers. So you play it kind of like a guitar. You're putting your fingers in there to make different sounds. Now, you put your fingers on the neck, like up towards here to down to here, to get the different sounds and the different majors and minors of the instrument. This is the viola. The viola is a little bigger than the violin and has the lowest pitch strings. It is known for being used to support the violins and have more harmonic qualities. It has 4 strings and is played with a bow, and they can also be plucked to create a sound. Now, just like I said with the violin, the viola, you put your fingers on the different strings here, and where you put them on the neck is how it's going to sound. The cello. Now, the cello is bigger than the violin or the viola. It has 4 strings and it's played with a bow. It can be plucked to create a sound. The cello is played through sitting in a chair. There is an end pin at the bottom of the cello to raise or lower your instrument. That pin is right down here. It's called an end stopper. You can actually move it up or down, and you lean this part against your body. You use the fingerboard like the violin, and the strings are G, C, D, and A, and you can move them up and down the bridge to actually, this is the bridge, actually up and down the fingerboard to give a different sound. Now, the double bass. Okay, so the bass is the biggest of the lowest sounding instruments of the string family. It has 4 strings. It's played with a bow. Hold on a minute, let me get this. It has an end pin and lower or raise the end pin of the instrument. It can be plucked to create a sound. Now, I'm going to go here and say this. If you ever hear a double bass in rock and roll, is plucked. It's not, you don't use a string. So this actually is the same way. It has a board down here. It's got a pin just like the cello, and it could be, but in rock and roll, this thing is in the neck. They use it and they pluck the strings. They don't use a bow to make the sound of the double bass. So in rock and roll, that's how they use rock and roll. Woodwind family. Now this is the flute. Now the flute is made out of metal. It can be made of gold, nickel, platinum, or silver. The sound is produced by blowing air to the neck piece. The keys are pressed down to produce different pitches of the instrument. Now, when you are blowing, you actually take your lips like you're going to kiss it, and you blow through a little part of your mouth into the lip plate here, and that's how you get the sound. And then you move it up and down. Now, the sound I got for you is a wood flute. So a flute could actually be made of wood too. Just saying. So this is the woodwind family. The clarinet. This is the instrument I played. I still play it. The clarinet is made out of wood. The sound produced by blowing air through the mouthpiece with a thin piece of reed that rests parallel to its mouthpiece. The vibration is sent through the instrument to create a sound. The keys are pressed down to produce different pitches on the instrument. Now, you are blowing air through a reed, and how this works is your tongue is touched to the tip of the reed. You can't see the mouthpiece, but the reed. And then you take the reed. You have to soak the reed in water to get the reed to work. Now, a lot of people would literally put it in water, but you actually suck on the reed for a couple seconds. And then right here these two little screws actually hold the reed down, and you press the reed up to the end of the mouthpiece, and you put the reed there, and you actually put the reed in your mouth, and your tongue, you use your tongue a lot when you're playing the clarinet. You use it a lot. But it's not just the reed vibrating, it's actually you pushing the reed vibrating with air down the tube, down the thing, down through the bell. And actually, when you're playing this instrument, it doesn't show you on the other side. There's a place where you can drip water out of, because there's going to be a lot of water. The oboe is the same way. The oboe is made out of wood. The sound is produced by blowing air through a double reed, two pieces of wood which are made out of a balsamic wood. They both vibrate to create the sound. The keys are pressed down to produce different pitches of the instrument. The same way with the clarinet, you have to take the reed out and actually put it in your mouth and get it wet and get it damp. Then you're going to put it in. Now, unlike the clarinet, you don't stick the whole, the mouthpiece in you. You stick the reed in your mouth and you play the reed, and it sounds like this. So the bassoon is made out of wood, and it's the lowest sounding instrument in the woodwind family. Just like the bass clarinet, it has harmony parts of the orchestra like the oboe. The bassoon also has a double reed made out of balsamic wood. The keys are pressed down to produce a different pitch of the instrument. Now, this instrument, they don't show the back of it, which they should have, to show you how the neck is of the bassoon for the reed to go in, and it looks like the oboe reed, and you soak it the same way. And this is a really good sounding, this is what it sounds like. This is a really good sounding, this is what it sounds like. All right, the bass brass family. Oh yeah. Okay. So the trumpet is made out of brass. The sound of the trumpet is produced by a technique called buzzing. To create the sound through the instrument, buzzing is created by blowing air through the mouthpiece of the trumpet. A set of 3 valves are pushed initially down to create the pitch. The trumpet has the brightest, highest pitch of all the brass family. These right here. Okay. And then you got the 3rd valve right here. You have the water key, which actually you need to use to actually dump out water as you go. And then you got all these different parts here. You have these valves that go down. And then you have this valve back here. This valve back here allows you to adjust the different sounds. Now, they also have a mute, which you'll hear in jazz. Jazz band use the mute a lot when they're playing jazz, or you're hearing a blues. You'll hear them use the mute a lot. And this is what it sounds like without the mute button. The trombone. I love this thing. So the trombone is made out of brass and also has a mouthpiece where you buzz and that's how the trombone changes pitch by moving the slide up and down throughout the instrument. The trombone is a high and unique of the concept because it's the only brass instrument that can do this. The trombone has a thick, heavy sound. The trombone is also used in jazz music as well. And You'll hear that in this clip. The French horn. Now this one is interesting because the French horn is made out of brass. The sound of the trumpet is produced by the technique called buzzing. To create the sound through the instrument, buzzing is created by blowing air one through the mouthpiece of the trumpet, just like the trump. A set of 3 valves are pushed, and these valves are right here, and then individual down to create the pinch. The French horn is a brilliant sound of warm texture, true brass sound. Now, if you ever watched a French horn player, they have their hand right here, and their other hand is fisted in the French horn bell, and that's how they hold it. Now the big daddy, the tuba. Okay, now the tuba is made out of brass and the mouthpiece as well, and the tuba looks like the French horn trumpet. It has 3 individual valves to create pitch. The tuba is the lowest pitch bass instrument in the brass family. Size-pitch relationship plays a big part in the instrument. The tuba has most harmony parts in the orchestra, and it sounds like this. We're going to get into percussions. Okay, so this is a timpan. Okay, also known as the kettle drum. The timpan has pedals under here. Where's the pedal? Oh, it's in the back. You can't see the pedal, it's in the back. They got this in the front. This is in the front of the if you actually go around the back, you'll see the pedals. Now, the pedals underneath the drum to change the pitch to move higher or lower depending on the music. The timbum is basically usually played with 4 or 5 sets of drums, smallest to the biggest. They're struck with mallets, 2 sticks wrapped around yarn on the tip, striking the head, causing vibration, thus amplifies the pitch of the sound. So wherever you hit on this part of the drum, it's going to give you a different kind of sound. Okay, now we're not going to get into all of these different instruments. The only 2 that I have samples for is the xylophone and this one right here, the chime. The vibraphone, which is this one, the xylophone is this one, and the goboscope is this one. It's very simple to each other, but they're made of different materials, such as wood and metal, to create the timbre. They're struck with mallets, and mallets can be firm and soft tips. Like I said, so this is the xylophone of what it sounds like. The wood and metal have 2 different sounds. So when you're hearing the xylophone compared to the vibraphone, you could tell the difference between the 2 of them just by hearing them. Now this is the chimes. The chimes are like organ. They have long metal pipe suspended in the air, and you struck with a rubber or hard piece hammer, causing vibrations and thus sound. And that's what this sounds like. Okay, so the harp is on the next page. Okay, so this is the harp and this is the piano. Okay, so the harp is an amazing and very large instrument. It is played with the string family most often. The strings are plucked, causing to vibrate to produce the harp sound. It has 4 pedals the same the sound of like a piano to change the different keys that scales them. Seriously. The piano is played by pressing down on the key to create the pitch sound. Once the key is pressed, a hammer-like object hitting the string, thus causing the sound. The piano used for solo works, for persuasive works, and blending into the string family. As you can see here, it doesn't show you. Here's the pedals on here, and there are the pedals down there. You see the pedals? They're funny looking. And then, yeah, this part right here goes to the person, so I don't know why the pedals are back there. Yeah, this goes towards the person, that goes out from the person. So I think the pedals are right here somewhere. It doesn't show the pedals, but here in the piano it does. The piano has 3. Now, as you can see, you have ebony and you have ivory keys. The ivory keys are the white keys, and the ebony keys are the black keys. And it's just basically note that the ivory key are laid out. There's 72 keys into the total. So between the ebony and ivory, there's I think there's 72 keys. 80. Oh no, there's 88 keys. 88 fingers Louis from the Flintstones, if you know the Flintstones. But this is what they both sound like. This is the piano, what it sounds like. And this is what the harp sounds like. All right. So now we are on to the percussion. Now we're into the percussion. Oh, we are in the percussion. Okay, so now we're into the snare drum. The snare drum has 2 heads, one on the bottom and one on the top. The one on top and the one on bottom. The bottom part has an optical snare attached to it. When the snare drum is hit, it causes a vibration and it has a high but non-pitched sound. The snare drum can be used in the army for centuries through our time. One of the most popular percussion instruments, the snare drum is also used and to teach young students to understand sticking. Now, let me explain this to you. I think there between 4 and 6 underneath. You flip it over, there are 4 to 6 pieces of metal that look weird. They're not straight. They're like funny looking, and they're underneath the snare drum. Now, the snare drum, they use this a lot. They use this a lot. This is like what it sounds like. But how the snare drum works is like the timbre, is wherever you hit the actual snare drum, where you hit it, it's going to make a different sound. So if you hit it towards the edge, you're going to get a different sound from if you hit it in the middle. The next one is the bass drum. Now, it's different from if you look on stage, but it's the same, in the same thing. Now, in marching band, they use this. They have 2 sticks, one stick and the other stick. So there's 2-sided. So the bass drum is a very large drum with heads on both sides, just like the snare drum. It produces a big and deep sound that you literally feel it in your body. It is struck with a huge mallet, like a stick, with a tip like that. Like I said, in marching band, they have 2 sticks, and they're marching with this in a rest, and it's pushing towards them, so they're not. And they're keeping their back straight so they can actually move it. And the same way with all the other percussion instruments, when you hit the head of the drum, you can hit it towards the edge, and as you go out, it gets different sounding. So depending on where you hit this drum, it makes a different sound. And last but not least, the cymbals. The cymbal are made out of brass and other type materials. They are round and struck with mallets on the drumsticks that cause the inner mallet and the crashing sound. Cymbals can vibrate for long periods of time once hit. Now, as you could see, you're not hitting this with a stick. You see the little handle here? There's two of them. So what's happening is this one right here goes in this hand, and the other one goes in this hand. And how this works is you're going to take one cymbal in this hand, the other in this, and you're going to crash them together. But how you crash them together is how it's going to sound. So sometimes you can clap it like this, sometimes you clap it like this, sometimes you clap it like that, and then you get used to clapping it different ways to make different sounds. So this is like, yeah. You know where my roots are. I'm sorry this video is a little long. I had to give you an idea of where my music entry came. This was my fascination with music. Now, when I see music, I don't see it, and I'll get into the next couple of videos to gives you understanding of everything. So we can make this is why I'm going this direction. I'm giving you an explanation of why. Now, I'm still going to do the DJing and everything else, so you're going to get a lot of that. But we're going to actually sit down, and we're going to actually break down, and we're going to actually put a song together, and we're going to actually learn some things. And then I'll show you the other part, and then we'll get into the other part. So basically what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you the artists that made these instruments and put them together to make beautiful music. We're going to get into the actual artists like Bach and Beethoven and all them. We'll get into those. So that's going to be my next video. So my next video is going to be that. Then the next video after that is going to be breaking down what an actual song looks like before it's played. Y'all want to know that? And I'll show you. And I will explain each and every thing. But we're going to use the clarinet because I know how to read clarinet music. I probably read it all, but I know where each and every chord is. I know what each and every bar is. I know how to read it. And I will show you the differences because there are two different. You have the percussion, has a totally different than the woodwinds, has a totally different setup. And I'll go into that. I will show you the differences. I'll show you the difference between the percussion, what it looks like, what an actual percussion piece looks like, and I will actually show you what a woodwind piece looks like, because between the woodwinds, I think it's the woodwinds, the violins, and all of those, they have the same, but the percussion is totally different. So I'll get into that, and I'll show you that. I don't know why they put the piano and the percussion, but anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comment below if you actually made it this far. 29 minutes. I'm sorry this video is long, but I had to get into it. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and ring that bell for notifications for videos like this and others. Smash that like button and check out this video right here. And if you made it this far, tell me how far. Deuces.